Welcome back to Brand Champions. I'm Howard Wolpoff, your host. Again, we're brought to you by Teal the Agency, and we're talking branding here today. We have a really great expert to talk about the communication that goes with branding. Her name is Monique Farmer of Avant Solutions. And Monique, welcome to our conversation today.
Good morning, Howard. Thank you so much for the invitation to have this discussion, and I look forward to it.
Well, we're excited to have you here and excited to really have a conversation because branding is very important. There's lots of different aspects to it, but communication is a very key part of that. Speaking the message, speaking the brand, and you have a lot to do with making sure companies are speaking in the right way. So why don't you share with us how you got started within this process and Avant came about?
Thank you. It's a great question, and I feel like it happened really maybe a little bit by accident. So I had worked a stint about 3 years in corporate communication, and I was recruited to lead communication for the largest school district in the state of Nebraska. And one of the first things I noticed when I got there to lead their communication strategy was that their branding seemed all over the place. You could see a logo that was stretched out. And when we think about just the way that you're approaching branding to tell a story that resonates, that psychologically connects with an audience, that is part of the story of who an organization is, we had a lot of work to do. So I took that work on. And that would have been 2015, 2016. So that would have been the early stages of when I really, really got introduced to the importance of having a solid brand and creating one for an organization.
And that makes a lot of sense when you're seeing it in so many different non-connective ways. In school districts in general, having a background in schools, it's not always the biggest priority as opposed to everything else. But with other companies, it really has to be to really continue that message. There really is a impression that's given if a pixelated logo is being sent out somewhere and it just doesn't look right. But also in the way that the spokespeople are speaking about the brand really helps expand that message to a much greater audience.
For sure. And then it's all about getting centered to articulate what an organization does. Specifically, you think about a school district is not a for-profit entity. So helping principals and the leadership team understand this is who we are. This is what our promise is to the community. This is what we offer from a service-based standpoint. This is why it matters. There was a lot of education around that, but we take on a lot of nonprofit organizations as our clientele, and helping them understand that is important too, because they have to articulate it to funders, they have to articulate it to the clients they serve, and it needs to be clear enough that they're creating ambassadors out of all of those different stakeholders. And it just makes it easy to demonstrate where they're making impact and how they're using that funding, offering programming that makes a difference.
It's really key when it comes to those nonprofits, because when you think about a corporation, there's probably one voice for the corporation, and there's the branding messages that some may go out further with advertising. With not-for-profits, there are a lot of voices, a lot of different people who are speaking the cause. So are you doing individualized trainings as a group with some of those companies, or is it really sharing the message of how things are supposed to be addressed so that everyone is speaking in the same language?
Well, when we're talking about a client that we're supporting, that's one thing. And often, depending on their budget, they may be asking for one specific aspect of brand support. But I also serve on a handful of nonprofit boards. So bringing that expertise even onto a board where you're providing that pro bono support, it's education. It is understanding that if we sit down with a donor and they are confused about the mission, about the vision, about the values, about the programming, our funding might get decreased, or we might not get renewed next year. And being able to get access to the revenues that support programming for an organization that is not looking to support a bottom line, but to service the community, I mean, it's critical. It's the lifeline. So the communication is so integral.
And it's very true, because every little piece of that is not just the individual speaking to someone, is all the different brochures that have to speak the right way, and that the person that had that one-on-one conversation is speaking to what people see in the brochure, what got them excited about the organization to begin with. And it's in addition to situations like this where you have an opportunity to get in front of camera, having the right person say the right
Yeah,
things in the right way to broaden that message and take advantage of a situation that could bring in some nice revenue and great goodwill.
for sure. And then you hit on something earlier also, Howard, that I just want to reverberate: the speaking with one voice, the ensuring that even the people that you have on your board that are representative of the executive body of the organization all clearly understand how to articulate collectively and individually that mission, that vision, that values proposition, and what it is that any organization does to support their customers or clients. The less confusion we have in the way that we talk about who we are, what we do, and who we do it for, and why. I mean, all of those things are part of a brand experience as well. And so if they aren't aligned, it creates confusion and misalignment, and it just can create, this dissonance that we don't want to have when we're trying to reach our stakeholders.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, and makes even more sense to have someone like you to really structure that for the company, the organization, the not-for-profit, to make sure they are speaking one voice and to really broaden the message and get the response back that people are looking for. So, Monique, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for everything you're doing for all these different organizations.
Thank you, Howard. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for the invitation.
And thank you all for joining us as well. Really having that message, really having the right message, clearly spoken, clearly written, clearly messaged out to people is very important. You want to make sure that you're always putting your best foot forward and providing as much information as possible for people to make decisions to support you. So definitely check out what Monique has to offer to different companies. It'd be a great asset for you to have. Go out, have a great rest of today, and we'll see you next time.